Hi, welcome or welcome back. My name is Felicia. I'm a knitter living in Washington, D.C., and this is my little corner of the internet where I like to share my knitting and all the fiber fun that comes along with it. I am so excited for today's episode. As you all are watching this episode, I am at Maryland Sheep and Wool. Well, technically I'm at Yarn Centric, and then I'll be headed to Maryland Sheep and Wool on Saturday, but I am so excited for this weekend. So if you happen to see me out and about, either in downtown Frederick or at Maryland Sheep and Wool, please come up and speak. Say hello, introduce yourself. I would love to put names to faces. I chat back and forth with a lot of you on Instagram and some of you here on YouTube, and so it'll be so much fun to put names to faces and be able to connect with you outside of the cyber world. So I want to share what I'm wearing. This is the Eros sweater by Petit Knit. I don't know why I forgot. This is the Eros sweater by Petit Knit. I finished this in February. I think I finished it right before Valentine's Day. It is knit in Neighborhood Fiber Company in two one-of-a-kind colorways. The rustic fingering was like a peach color, and then the mohair that I held with it was a peach cranberry, and it gave it this beautiful marled peachy pink maroon cranberry effect. I love this sweater. The weather is like drab and overcast here in DC. It's been in the 50s all week, and so this was like, yes, I want something cozy and soft up against my skin, and I wanted to pull this out because it's also kind of bright and springy, so it was the best of both worlds. I will link to the episode where I discussed this sweater, as well as to the Ravelry page for this sweater. And as always, I will have my Ravelry page for every project that I discuss. Well, not as always, because that's a new thing. But as always, I will have everything that I discuss linked below, including my Instagram and my Ravelry. And because now I make Ravelry pages for the things that I knit, I will also have the Ravelry pages for my projects linked below. If you want to know more about the yarn, the specific colors, the sizes, the techniques, all of that will be in the description box below. I have a lot to share. Well, not a lot, but like more than a little. I have one finished object and one work in progress. And then I'm also gonna give an update on my farm because it's so much more than a balcony garden. At this point, it is a farm. I'm gonna give a great big update on that. And yeah, I'm so excited for everything that I have to talk about and share today. The first thing that I have to share and talk about is my finished object. It is my Astrid by Junko Okamoto. I finished the body. So I said on the last episode that it was my goal to get the body finished by the start of May. I kind of did that. I think it was May 2nd when I cast off the body. And y'all, so on the last episode, or maybe whenever, I said that I was adding like length or repeats to the body because the pattern was going to have me stop at this point and it was going to be extra cropped and blah, blah, blah. The pattern did not say that. Like, it didn't say that. I don't know where I got that from, but I did not get that from the pattern. Everything I said in that episode about the pattern being short was a lie. It wasn't true. Sorry, Ma, cover your ears. It was a lie. So the truth is that the pattern told me exactly what to do to make it be the right length. I didn't see it. I didn't read it. I didn't read well. Used zero of my reading comprehension skills in that moment. Just arbitrarily made a decision and went with it. The decision, it worked out just fine. It so happened that the repeat that I chose to put in was the same number of stitches wide and the same number of rows deep. So I ended up in the same place I would have ended up in anyway. But I had several moments veering into hours where I considered ripping back to the beginning, and not the beginning of the sweater, but to the beginning of that repeat and doing it all over again. I found my right mind and I did not do that, but I thought about it for way longer than I should. Because this sweater to me, this is like my Fox Thoughts pullover. It is heirloom quality at this point. It is like the yarn is so special, the pattern is so beautiful, and I want it to be perfect. And the reality is that it is perfect just the way that it is. It is unique. And honestly, nobody's gonna know. Like, nobody's gonna know. I was having that moment where I had like turned into that soundbite and I was like, they're gonna know. They're gonna know. And the other angel on my shoulder was like, nobody's gonna know. They're not gonna know. And y'all won't know. I honestly don't think that anybody would be able to tell the difference between my iteration of the pattern and what the pattern actually instructed people to do. So it's fine. I did not rip it back. I did not redo it. And it looks great. It fits great. I love everything about it except one thing, which is still, is it my fault? Sure, I'll take the blame for it. But in the pattern, and I don't know if you'll be able to see that, maybe? In the pattern, it tells you to go down a needle size and then knit the bottom part or whatever. I didn't do that because I had already gone down a needle size to knit the body. And so I was like, I don't want to knit the hem of this on a like 2.75 millimeter or whatever it was going to be. I should have done that, and I should have done that because now it has like a weird ripple flare thing, and I don't like the way that it looks. So I have a lifeline. I had the foresight to put in a lifeline because I kind of was like, this might not be the best choice. So I did put in a lifeline. So when I bring this back out of hibernation to work on the sleeves, I'm gonna finish the sleeves and then I'm gonna pull this back and I'm gonna redo the bottom. I'm gonna knit it on a smaller needle, and I think I'm gonna take out probably 8 to 12 stitches and kind of cinch that in. I'm also going to knit fewer rows of stockinette than what are called for in the pattern because it's just not curling up quite enough to give that look. The other thing I'm gonna do on the collar, I added short rows in the back, and I think it does help to improve the fit. But I should have knit a few more rows at the top. I should have knit a few more rows to get it to actually like curl under. It doesn't really curl under, so I think I'm gonna just tack it down so that I still get that rolled collar look that I was really, really attracted to in this particular pattern. But those are problems for future Felicia, not Felicia of today. Felicia of today is going to fold this up and put it away, and I will pick it back up in September. I did do a wet block of this. I wanted to just sort of make sure that the color work was gonna lay flat and see what it looked like and get that whole, I don't know, feeling out of it. So I did do a wet block of it. It wet blocked perfectly, and then when I finish it, I will do another wet block with the cabled sleeves. So that is going into hibernation. I will pull it back out probably around September and work on the sleeves. I read the pattern for the sleeves. Well, I skimmed it. I will read it before I actually knit it so that I don't do what I did for the body. And there was just a lot going on. It was a lot of like the cable chart, and the cable chart is very wide, which makes me feel like there aren't very many repeats. There was just a lot going on, and I don't have the mental capacity for it right now. Like, it's just not, I can't do it. Me personally, I cannot do it. So I will come back to this in September. Hopefully this summer at work will not completely fry my brain, and I will be able to pick this up and work on these cables in September, and hopefully have this as something really fun to wear in the fall, in that sort of transition period. So that's my finished object. And I have, well, technically I have two whips. I've been working on my Plumpy shawl, but I haven't put very much on it, so it looks the exact same. So yeah, I just like didn't pull that out, but I am probably going to be finished with this finished object before the weekend is over. And so I will probably pull my Plumpy back out. I feel like I'm going to be entering my shawl era pretty soon, because there are so many shawls on my radar that I want to knit. And so I feel like that's where my mind is going to be at coming up sooner rather than later. So you'll see the Plumpy again, but just not today. On the today of things, I'm going to show you what I decided to do with my Equinox Sport from Magpie Fibers. So this is what that yarn looks like. This is the color Bougie Beaver. This is the color Bougie Beaver. Equinox Sport is 60% silk, 40% linen. It's literally magic. It is the most magical yarn. I've knit with a fair amount of like plant-based yarns, and they all kind of like fatigue my hands, and they don't glide over the needles. I knit on metal needles. They don't have that glide over the needles like wool does, and you're usually kind of like pushing and forcing the stitches, and your hands get really... This yarn does not do that. It almost knits like a wool, if that makes sense. Like it has the slide and the glide of a wool, but it's the lightness and the airiness and the draping. Like, I mean, look at this swatch. It's so lightweight. I mean, the drape on this is, it's just... I'm going to be picking up more of this weekend. Like, definitely going to be picking up more of this. So, a lot of you gave great pattern suggestions for what this yarn could be. A lot of them with like lace and, if you want to see some of the suggestions, go back to the last episode and read the comments. There were so many great suggestions. And one of you actually figured out what this yarn was going to become, because by the time I posted the episode, I had kind of already made a decision about what the yarn was going to become. Before I even filmed the episode, I looked at this pattern and I was like, I think that would be the perfect pattern for this yarn. But I was afraid to commit to the pattern. I don't know why. I couldn't like wrap my mind around it. I wasn't sure if I had enough yarn. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be the right fit. I wasn't sure about it. And so it just kind of sat, like it was in the back of my mind when I was describing to you all what I wanted this yarn to become. And then my fiber friend Darcy reached out to me and was like, that needs to be an outline raglan by Jessie May. And I was like, I literally was thinking about that pattern, because when I was talking about not wanting to knit a love note or not wanting to knit another ranunculus because of the neckline, I sort of cut my thought off midway, and it was the combination of that kind of neckline and the lace detail in the yoke that I just didn't want to do two of those types of garments back to back. And I wanted something a little bit different and airy and just really kind of fun and universal and versatile and able to be worn in a number of scenarios over the summer. And the outline raglan is so perfect for that. So if you've never seen the outline raglan, it has a dropped stitch raglan detail that then goes along the body, and it comes out along the raglan and then it comes in along the body. It's stunning. I guess I should show you, because I'm almost done with it at this point. I cast this on just over a week ago, and I'm almost done. So the body is basically done. I wanted to knit the sleeves to just make sure that I like the way that the body fits, or that I like the length. I think that I like the length of the body, but I wasn't 100% certain. So I wanted to knit one sleeve and kind of get that comparison between the sleeve and the body before I commit to binding off the body. So the body is still here. It's still attached to yarn in case I decide I want to do one or two more rounds of the repeat. And then you can see what I'm talking about, maybe, yeah, with the raglan detail that then goes into the body. And this will become the dropped stitch, and it'll kind of open up. There we go. It will kind of open up and be even more flowy, even more airy. The pattern is super simple. It's my first time knitting a Jessie May pattern. It's really, really easy to follow. The instructions are great. I did one modification, and this was actually I don't know if it was like a recommendation or more of a, like, Darcy was telling me what she was gonna do, and I copied her, because why wouldn't I copy her? Everything she makes is amazing. So I copied her. So she said that she was considering doing an I-cord edging along the collar. And so I did an I-cord edging along the collar. What I did is I did a provisional cast on to a spare needle. It's like my absolute favorite technique. I did a provisional cast on, and then I picked up the stitches. You don't really pick them up, they're already on a needle cord, but I attached the yarn and I knit one round, and then I did an I-cord bind off along the neckline, and I think it looks really, really pretty. You still get the fold over effect, but I think it just looks a little bit neater than just doing it with the bind off, with the cast on edge that's called for in the pattern. Other than that, I'm following the pattern. I think I'm knitting the size large in this. The way the pattern is written is you pick a size based on your bust measurements, and then there's also a section that tells you like exactly what that sizing would be, if that makes sense, like what the finished garment measurement would be. So you can kind of go in between, but I just picked the size for my bust measurement. So I think I'm knitting a large. And I think it's gonna end up with like, right now I think it has about like 8 inches of positive ease, 6 to 8 inches of positive ease. It looks really, really great. I love this color. Oh, I love this color, especially when I get a little bit of sun. Okay, I helical knit on the whole entire thing. I don't think it would have been, I don't think it was necessary to do helical knitting because whoever is working the dye pots at Magpie is impeccable. The skeins were so consistent to knit with that I really don't think that helical knitting was necessary, but it is my, the sun just came out and now it's so much brighter. It is my preferred method of working with hand-dyed yarns. I am gonna helical knit. It's a little bit more fussy than just like knitting straight in the round, but I always appreciate the way that the garment turns out. And then I'm also doing helical knitting on the sleeve. I knit the body on a 4mm, which is the called for size in the pattern. And then I'm knitting the sleeves on a 4.5, and I did my I-cord on a 5. I think that's it. As for the yarn, again, it's buttery soft, it's so drapey, it's magical. This is gonna be such a perfect summer sweater. Darcy, cover your ears. I kind of want to knit a beige one. Well, not beige, but cream. I really want to knit a cream one. I think that would be so pretty. I don't know that I'm going to do that, but I would love to do that. Almost like a wintry cream one, like maybe something with a little bit of wool in it. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm definitely gonna knit this pattern again, and I'm definitely picking up more skeins of this Equinox Sport. I might even do the Equinox worsted because I want to knit another Autumn League pullover, and I think it would be like scrumptious in that yarn, but I don't know. I'm gonna pick up more of the yarn. It will become whatever it becomes when it becomes it, but I'm obsessed with this yarn. I'm obsessed with this pattern, and it literally has just flown off the needles because it's been so easy to knit. It's, at this point, it's a 2-round repeat. The sleeves are even easier because you're not doing the drop stitch detail. So the sleeves are moving even quicker, and I just like, I'm so excited to wear this garment. It's gonna be so perfect. So yeah, that's everything that I've been knitting on. Like I said, I've been working on my plumpy, but it doesn't look very different because I get like 1 or 2 rows in at a time, and I haven't even been picking it up every day. And I still have my half and half wrap, which is like my Metro knitting. But yeah, so that's all that I've been working on. And so I'm gonna give you just a quick update on my farm, aka my balcony garden. So you all gave me so much great advice, so many great tips. I appreciate it so much. A lot of it was things that I already knew and was like having in the back of my mind. I have some experience with growing edibles, but I've never really had like a dedicated garden space in the way that I do now. Like I've grown herbs and stuff like that, had like a little kitchen garden, but this is like a true outdoor garden. And over the last few weeks, I have done so many things. It has multiplied. I have all the things that I mentioned before, but I added a pepper plant, I added some sweet potatoes, I added a few more herbs, and then I'm also planting out probably this weekend some nasturtiums and some marigolds to hopefully attract some pollinators. And I also have like a little rainwater collection system. Again, I have a decent sized like terrace balcony, but I also don't, sorry, I'm like looking out the window. I should be looking at the camera. I'm literally I'm sitting and I can see the garden. Sorry, y'all. But I decided to collect some rainwater, one, to save money, but also because rainwater is better to use for your gardening. And so I set up like a little rainwater collection system, and I've collected almost 20 gallons of water, which is amazing. And so I've been using that to like water in the plants and do all of that. So I'm thinking about filming a balcony garden tour. Let me know if that's something that you would be interested in, and I can sort of talk about my small space balcony gardening and the decisions that I made, where I found things. I am obsessed with my garden. Like I go out there and I probably spend 20 to 30 minutes 3 or 4 times a day just out there looking at the plants and thinking about them and thinking about things I want to do differently for my next, like the next season. I've done a little bit of like succession planting with my lettuce, and it's been sort of unseasonably cool in DC, so my greens are looking great. So is my cilantro, which I did not think was going to make it to the end of May. But I think now with the weather and the forecast for the foreseeable future, I think it's going to be fine. And yeah, I'm really excited. So let me know if you want to see my balcony garden. There's a few more things that I want to get done with it, but I'm more than happy to film that and share that. And if you want like more regular updates about it, then you can follow me on Instagram. I post about it over there. I will have my Instagram linked below. Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about Maryland sheep and wool and my thoughts and plans and sort of how I'm gonna go into it. I'm not gonna go super in depth into Maryland sheep and wool just because I'm gonna be doing a separate dedicated video, but because it is this weekend, I do wanna give just a little bit of insight into sort of where my mind is in terms of what I'm gonna be looking for, what I'm gonna be shopping for, and what I'm not gonna be shopping for. I'm so excited for Maryland sheep and wool this weekend, and I've been thinking a lot about what I want to invest in and pick up, and I'm hoping that it's not a complete budget fiasco like it was last year, where I just like went and kind of lost my mind. I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens, because you know how it is. You get high off the fumes from the yarn and you start touching stuff and feeling stuff and just like lose your mind, like lose your mind. But you know, I know so much more about the yarns that I like and what I don't like, that I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, that I don't, you know, just like blow the whole bank, right? One, I have one project for sure that I want to buy yarn for, and that's the Cuddle Puddle wrap. I want to pick up some yarn from Passionate's Yarn for that, specifically for that. And I'm like in my warm weather season vibe, so maybe I will pick up like some wool cotton blends. I don't know. You know, the whole strategy this year honestly is like vibes. It's straight up vibes. I am going in, I know I'm getting the Passionate's yarn. Everything else is like as the ancestors guide me to the yarn and tell me to pull out my card and pay for the yarn, that is what I'm gonna do. With that in mind, the ancestors and I both know I don't love superwash yarn. I will knit with it and I will buy it, but I don't need to buy like whole sweaters quantities of superwash yarn. It's just not, it's not my vibe. I don't need to buy a lot of variegated yarn unless it's a mohair or like Surrey alpaca. Again, I just like, I know how I feel about those things. So I just like, you know, we don't need to do that. I don't need to buy yarn that I can get any other time of the year, right? So like last year I bought a ton of Spin Cycle, I bought a ton of Magpie fibers, and Magpie is super close to me. Like I can drive there in 30, 45 minutes. If I order something online, I normally get it within like the next, like depending on when they ship it, I can get it within a day to max. Like it's basically a local yarn store for me. So I don't need to go in there and like go ape shit crazy and just buy a bunch of stuff. I might, probably will, but like don't need to. And then, you know, there are just some places and vendors that are relatively easy for me to access. And so I want to try to pick up things that are a little bit harder or further away from me. Obviously, I'm going to be looking for black makers and other makers of color. That's, you know, that's always the vibe. So we'll see. I don't have any projects in mind for things that I want to purchase, which is dangerous. But I think it will be fine. I think it will be fine. This is my second year going, and I kind of know what to expect now. And this is my first year going to Yarn Centric. I did not go to Yarn Centric last year, so this is my first year going to that event. So that might be a little overwhelming, but I'm excited for like most all of the vendors that are going to be there are ones that I want to see their things in person or I've purchased from them before. So I'm really, really excited about that. And yeah, I don't know. We're going to see. It's going to be vibes. Obviously, I'm going to be vlogging and bringing along my cameras and by cameras, I mean my phone and my real camera to capture footage. So hopefully I'll be so distracted with filming that I won't have time to buy things. I don't think that's going to be the case, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm excited to like sit down and share my reflections and share what I pick up and bring you all along with me to Maryland Sheep and Wool. That's going to be a lot of fun because it's my Rhinebeck. Like I keep saying I want to go to Rhinebeck, and I do, but I really like Maryland Sheep and Wool. Like I like the time of year it is, and I don't know, I'm just really, really excited. Like I get really, really excited for it, and I feel like a lot of, at least people on the internet, people that do this, people in the podcasting space, aren't super excited about like Maryland Sheep and Wool. Like everybody loves Rhinebeck. Everybody's into Rhinebeck. Like Rhinebeck is like that girl. But really, Maryland Sheep and Wool is a lot of fun. So, and it's a really big festival. Like it's really fun. I think it should be more hyped than what it is. And like I am okay being a one-woman cheerleading section for Maryland Sheep and Wool. I'm fine with that. So I am just really, really excited to bring people along so that they can see. And it's not going to be raining this year. It's supposed to be like really nice, mild weather. It's going to be perfect for feeling yarny, woolly, sheepy goodness things. I'm so, so, so excited. Anyway, I will share all of that in the vlog that I will be posting next week. That will bring you along with all of that and show you all the things that I picked up and all of that. But in the meantime, I am going to sign off now and get everything packed and ready to go to Maryland Sheep and Wool. I'm so excited. Again, if you see me out there this weekend, please come up and say hi. I am a hugger, so if I might hug you. I will ask for your permission, but I'm a hugger, and rumor has it from lots of people that I give amazing hugs. So I'm excited to see all of you, to hug you, to meet you, to have conversations with you, to see all the fun fiber things that you are purchasing, to see what you're wearing, to all of that. I'm so excited. So I will see you sooner rather than later. Take good care of yourselves. Bye.